Make an educational video about stress? I can't do that. Ugh, I'm way too stressed. My head is buzzing. What is that incessant knocking sound at the back of my skull?
Ah, yes, I know what that is. It's the unmistakable musk of your brain beginning to release stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, and your heart rate, blood pressure, and muscle tension all go up. It's a never ending stream of assignments, it's the fear of failure, it's the uncertainty of the future. Whatever your stresses are, and no matter how big or small you perceive them to be, we can all agree that the increased blood pressure and cardiovascular diseases linked with stress are not good for the body or soul. That's right. In fact, those same stress hormones are also responsible for boosting energy, improving memory, and in a 2013 study conducted by Kirby and group, it was found that when rats were exposed to brief periods of stress, new nerve cells formed in the brain, resulting in improved cognitive function. Okay, now I know you're confused, so let's just take a step back. A study conducted by Keller and group between 1998 and 2006 found that those who experienced moderate to high levels of stress and believed stress to have negative impact on their health faced a 43% increase in risk of premature death. Meanwhile, those who experienced a lot of stress but had no perception that stress affects health recorded the lowest likelihood to die out of everyone. This means that by not believing that stress impacts health, they were at a lesser risk of dying than people who didn't even experience stress.
So, stress is actually harmless and it's only our perception of stress that matters?
Stress isn't just harmless. Between Keller and Kirby's findings, we can see that by embracing stress instead of avoiding it, we can quite literally live longer, happier lives. Now that's a definition of well-being if I ever saw one.
Okay, now I know you're dying to find out just exactly how you can get in on this concept of optimizing stress. That seems so good that the only possible explanation must be that it's a pyramid scheme.
Luckily, it's not. Let's begin by taking a look at one of the fundamental concepts explored in the renowned psychology book, The Rubber Brain, written by Morris and Group. The Rubber Brain reveals that at the core of well-being is the SMR, or Stimulus Mind Response Model. It details that with any given situation, there can be optimal and suboptimal outcomes, which are dictated by a cognitive assessment of the situation and subsequent response. So, the key to optimizing stress is really about optimizing your cognitive assessment, or mindset. In 2009, a study conducted by Crum and Acar found that manipulating the stress mindset of participants into believing that stress is enhancing resulted in greater cognitive flexibility, increased growth hormones, and a greater attentional bias towards happy emotions. And you're right, optimizing stress is kind of like a pyramid scheme because it's the gift that keeps on giving. Now that we've learned how to use stress to our advantage, we can feel glad when we next experience it. Just remember, the impact of stress is only what you perceive it to be.
Created using Powtoon.